si Mortal Kombat. Promise na promise. Pag naging canon si Mortal Kombat, so magme-message ako kay Ed Boon. Mag-i-email ako, magpapadala talaga ng malupit na email. At tatanungin ko siya, bakit mo sinama si Aquaman? Promise, I swear to you. Promise. I hate you. Mortal Kombat 2021.
You're tuned in to the loudest, craziest, and most excited bunch of geeks and nerds on this side of the planet. Commentary, views, news, and reviews of the latest to the greatest of all things pop culture. From comics to toys to video games to anime, cartoons, film, and TV. You're about to dive into everything nerdy and geeky in between. This is BJG.
This is Heneral Tuna.
This is Captain Mike.
This is Paleets.
This is Noch.
This is Trixter.
This is Dating 2.0.
This is Rene, Cruz, and this.
And
This.
This is the G3 podcast.
Gamers, geeks, and good times. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the G3 podcast. This is our first episode for the year 2023. Palakpakan naman tayo dyan mga boys. We have survived the new year. Wala bang naputukan dyan? Ano nangyari sa inyo? Parang naputukan ka. Wala namang naputukan sa amin mga kaibigan. We are back. And what a show comeback we have for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have our co-panelists as usual. Noch, who's not very happy. Noch is in the house. Paleets, Captain Mike, Rene, Cruz Jr., Trixter, and Heneral Jaz completing us. And of course, Bing is not available tonight. Stanley is in the chat. Welcome to the show, everybody. For those people who are watching, just saying hello to everybody na ngayon ay nasa chat natin. Kamusta kayo mga kaibigan? How was the new year? Welcome back, sirs. Musta. Maganda yung kwarto ni Paleets. Yung i-highlight mo nga yan. Foreshadowing remnants of old. Yan.
Remnants of old.
The degenerates of old. Kamusta pare? Kamusta?
All good. Syempre, New Year was really good for us. Enjoy kami dito. Although medyo tahimik, ewan ko, parang hindi bumalik after COVID. But yeah, again, busy pa din.
Nice. My brother Trixter is back home. Would you believe it? He's not with me anymore. He is now back. He's now back to his home. Ano ba mga pagbabago diyan? At maliban sa buhok mo kamusta? Ang trip mo ngayon, pare?
I'm testing out videogames I bought from the Steam sale.
Oh yeah, Steam sale.
The PS1 that good old chairman gave to me. I'm making good use of it in the room.
Alright. And of course, Heneral Tuna is still surrounded by his very real Funko Pops. Kamusta,
Very
pare?
real, yeah.
real.
Pretty good. First time spending the new year with just me and my wife.
Aww.
It was new. Medyo syempre
Napunta ka
nakakamiss
namin
talaga
dyan.
yung pamilya, diba? And I feel really great na pinuntahan nyo kami dito. So for the entire, from Christmas to New Year, puro kami carbonara.
Sorry naman. Ito, speaking of pumupunta, ito si Rene ang hindi nagpakita buong holiday. Maliban sa, kamusta ba dyan sa good old Etibac, pare?
Ayos naman, the crime rate is at an all-time low.
Ang dami-dami mong pipiliin, pambihira ka.
That is crime rate.
Celebration.
Crime
rate.
Yeah. We're hoping that it picks up once the holiday feelings are gone. So, balik sa, business as usual. So, looking forward to it.
Looking forward
Back
to
to
it.
business as usual.
At maliban, apart from the fact that it was the holidays, it was also recently Rene's birthday. So happy birthday! Happy birthday! Hindi mo naman ginaya yung nag-viral na video na birthday niya, kaya siya
Hindi ako magvi-video if I'm doing anything na
Incriminating.
stay safe tayo, safe.
Yeah.
Teka lang.
But I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything illegal. I'm just saying. For the record.
Bakit parang takot na takot ka?
Why are you so
No, he just
defensive?
wanna
Wala naman
check-
nagtanong.
I just wanted
Because
to-
sometimes I keep forgetting that we're live.
Right. Tivac represent. Yan. Speaking of incriminating things, ito si Captain Mike, umiikot ito eh. Etong palaikot. Ano bang panibago sa iyo, kapatid?
we've been doing a lot of things nung bakasyon. I celebrated Christmas with my mom, with Venus. Looking forward to amazing things this 2023. Grabe. Ngayon pa lang na-excite na ako.
Yan ang mga gusto ko sa'yo eh. Amazing. Kasi teka lang ito si paring Noch, kanina pa medyo hindi yata masaya eh.
Bungad pa lang.
Oo medyo walang ano ba, kamusta ka ba kapatid? Are you okay? You wanna talk? What's wrong, Bobby?
Ang hirap tanggapin ng mga posibleng nangyari.
Posibleng mangyari, grabe. Yeah, dahil ba yan sa pag-uusapan natin? Hindi naman.
Actually, hindi. Iba to.
Okay. Would you mind telling
Parang sama ng loob mo, Noch.
parang sama ng loob.
Talagang masama ang loob ko. Kung yung Resident Evil kaya, gawing canon. Ikaw, gusto mo? Yung Dragon Ball Evolution kaya, yun pala talaga yung canon, yun yung GT. Ikaw,
Sa bagay,
I would rather have GT than Evolution.
I would rather have GT.
I'd rather not have MK 2021.
Huwag kang magalala, ibuburay natin.
2020 na may sama ka pa din ng loob.
Oo naman!
Of course.
But, wait, aren't they working on a sequel? I read somewhere they're working on a sequel.
Yes, they are.
I heard
Sige, sagot Patricks!
No, pero they, Chino, I don't know if this would lighten your mood, but they already promised Johnny Cage.
Too late!
Si Cole Liang yung Johnny Cage! Siya si Johnny Cage!
Ang i-promise nila, tanggalin nila si Cole Young. Yun ang promise nila.
No.
Yun ang dapat i-promise
somewhere
nila.
happened.
Tanggalin nila yun.
Ay, nako. But yeah, welcome back guys. Hello to our 17 viewers. Welcome back to the show. Medyo extended na show natin ngayon. We have quite a discussion. We have a fun topic tonight to talk about and we want to get started. Yung bad guy outro namin last year, may ibig sabihin yan eh. Because right now, G3 is going to be bolder, fiercer, stronger, like Laila Magtalas 2.0. Tandaan niya. We're going to be changing stuff a lot, right? Bakit?
Sarah Heronimo. Sarah Heronimo, references ni BJ.
Yung mga payat, tataba. Yung mga payat, tataba. Yung mga matataba, papayat.
Yan ang gusto ko.
Yan ang importante.
Yung mga hindi naliligo, maliligo na sa wakas. I'm talking to you, Rene.
I can't promise that.
Hindi yan. You're asking for too much.
Ano ba naman yung sabon sa balat, di ba? Try it.
Right, but
Ano kung mayaman? Maliligo.
but just
May
to
lawa
give,
naman eh. Pero
just to give respect where respect is due. I just want to say that the first episode of the show, and I don't know if I already mentioned this to the guys. I just want to take a really brief moment to pay our respects to our recently fallen friends. 2023 is indeed something to look forward to, but we don't want to go on without remembering our friends JC and Brian, who passed away recently. This show is for you guys, and we just want to thank you for being part of G, and I hope everybody in the chat gets to give them the respect and memory that they deserve. So G3 would not have been here if it weren't for your contribution. So maraming salamat. Sumalangit na ang inyong mga kaluluwa, and let us do you justice by making this show something that you would be proud of.
Love you, JC. Pakidala na lang sa mga MK 2021 dyan.
Bubulungan yan. Bubulungan yan. Huwag kang mag-alala.
Si Cole yan.
But yeah, man. We're going to get started. I'm already seeing a lot of people in the chat room. So this is a good time for us to start our annual 2023 version of Captain Mike's ever so loving batian portion. Captain Mike, are you ready?
Oh,
Really
yes,
talaga
I
ano,
am...
bumati ito.
Oo naman.
Okay, Captain Mike, take it away in 3, 2, 1. Batian, let's go.
At yun na nga, start tayo mula dun sa may pinakataas. Sabi nga ni Stanley dito, Friday is Friday. Sa mga viewers, don't forget to follow, like our pages for more geeky, gaming, and new stuff. Check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, TikTok. And our link tree. Tapos sabi ni Stanley First Podcast on 2023. Si Harem nandito rin. What's up, brother? Si Henry Segundo, si Wilbert Parocha nandito rin. Happy Friday, GT Gang. Maylin Arneto also says hello. Sabi ni Raymond Ordonez, Thunder Sweet. Bakit ganun? Charlene, sabi happy streaming. Sabi ni Harem, Etivac, mukhang batang Etivac dito si Harem. The Miss for Johnny Cage, sabi ni Harem.
Yes, sir.
Sabi ni Rocky, Spotify, follow age. Tapos sabi ni Stanley, shout out to Mama Lexi. Sabi ni Ainjan, hello DT, kumusta kay DJ Miss You. Shout out din sa mga PRGC. And you know, what time it is. Let's go.
Wasabi!
Galing. Thank you.
Those may or may not be the original lyrics, pero alam niyo naman na yan.
For copyright purposes, we allowed Chino to do that. So yeah, let's get this started, ladies and gentlemen. Quite the news dropped 2 weeks ago when the world, not just the Philippines, the world was given preview. We were given a mega trailer of the upcoming TV show Voltes 5 Legacy, and the world was shocked to see the scale, the grandeur, the vision, and for all intents and purposes, the plans for the show. And as your resident geeks and nerds, mga kaibigan, we have something to say about this thing, and we decided that it's going to be a good time for us to talk about it, even if it's 2 weeks ago, because, and only because, it has stirred quite the reaction from a lot of people. And it's not just from us; it's from everywhere else. Even worldwide, there are people who are reacting to the trailer. Siguro mamaya, if we have the time, we can watch the trailer together. No, pero what we want to talk about is the fact that it's attempting to be a really good adaptation. Now, here's the question to everybody: is it the way to go? Are adaptations the way to go for our entertainment this year, 2023? Is it the way to go for us to get better entertainment? Or should we just talk about giving the same level of treatment to already existing and local titles that we already have? The G3 guys are going to be talking about that really quick, but before we do, somebody else is here. Some other people are here to help us talk about the topic. And ladies and gentlemen, for our first episode for this year, we have our first guests. Welcome,
tunay na pogi.
Mga retro boys, guys who champion the retro gaming community, our friends from PRG, Mr. Shin and Banyagang Native. Welcome to the show, sir. What's up?
Hello, kumusta kayo lahat dyan?
Wala pa sa inyo lahat. Nag-love shoutout sa lahat ng mga
Guys,
nandito.
international na tayo, mga kaibigan.
One is from the East Coast, that is Shin.
Yeah,
Actually, wala na.
Do we do the thing?
Baliktad.
We do. No, you want to get it's West Coast pala. Banyagang Native is in the East Coast and Shin is in the West Coast. Yeah. Don't do the hand signs. We gonna get shot. Everybody.
Yeah, Mamocho, mag-ingat ka na paglabas mo mamaya. Ayan.
Kukot na ako dito.
Kumusta kayo dyan? Sir Banyagang Native, how are you, sir?
Everything's okay. Winter isn't so bad right now. Hindi pa bumabagsak yung mga big snows. Ang forecast dito is mga banda middle January, early Feb pa siguro. Pero right now it's mostly a lot of rain, a lot of wind, snows, yung mga 4-foot squalls. Once that happens, medyo maghuhukay na naman tayo mga banda February, ganon. Pero overall, we're very good here in New Jersey and in the East Coast.
Nice.
Pretty much the same thing dito sa West Coast. Malamig-lamig ngayon dito. Kung ano man yung mga bagyo na meron sa East Coast, dito nila binabato once they're done with it. Kaya malamig-lamig ngayon dito. But hopefully, siguro, at least for the love of God, guys, I don't want to get shot.
Neither do we, man. Neither do we.
Actually, nung bata ako,
Paglabas ni Mamut yun.
I was a fairly good crip walk.
Oh, wow.
On behalf of Filipinos out there, we do not condone fighting with any gang members. We do not condone being a part of Crip or Blood. I am so sorry.
Paglabas si Mamut yung mamaya sa bahay niya. Hey, there's that guy! Yun.
It's that
Hey, I heard you were Crips. I thought you were Blood. I thought you were down.
Wala.
No, man, I'm a crip from Dota.
Creeps. Yung
Oh,
sa
Dota
Dota.
Crips.
From Dota. Creeps.
Kaya pala ako kasama Tito Joel dito.
Right. So let's get this started, guys. Let's get this started. Welcome to the show. Banyaging Native and Shin, it's a pleasure to have you.
And
of
thank you
course,
very much
it's
for
always a
having
pleasure.
Thank you very much for having us.
Tandaan nyo, it's because of them that we found out that Captain Mike cheats on Sonic 2.
Yes.
No. They found
Never
out.
forget that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Banyaging Native, the very cordial and diplomatic person that he is, he called it a feature, which we call it bullshit. Oh, now
Count it, Paleets. Count it.
now 6.
6-3.
6-3 na ba? Grabe.
6-3 na.
Um,
Bilang ko yan,
so-
nakalista yan.
Running count of profanity.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's going to, it's going to be expensive by the end of this year. Okay, so guys, Voltus 5 Legacy just dropped. It's the 4th, and believe it or not, guys, just a little bit of trivia to everybody who's watching. There have only been 3 full Filipino adaptations of foreign anime work, and that's the first one being Princess Sarah. I think it was Princess Sarah who came in first. And then Sedi was the second one. And then the third one, which is a little bit recent, is a spin-off tale from the Space Sheriff series, Zaido, and comes now Voltes 5 as the 4th. Apat pa lang ang official adaptation of
The best
Pilipinas.
yun, yung Zaido.
The best na mamili ka, Mortal Kombat o Mortal
Huwag kang ano
Kombat.
dyan, BJ, ha?
Paleets is going crazy na. Yun na.
Ano?
Pulis pang Kalawakan.
Pulis Pangalawakan, motocross. Anyway,
Side bike.
yun, naging excite bike si Sider. We're gonna be talking about that because, in my opinion, and let me start things off with my opinion on things, which I rarely share. In my opinion, they're good. Adaptations are great. We've always enjoyed adaptations, not just in the Philippines, but also Hollywood adaptations of other things. But I just feel that there's so much content here in the Philippines, so we could have given the same amount of treatment, the same amount of budget, the same amount of panahon, attention, publicity. And that's what I want to throw the question first. Do you also think the same? Or would you think it's better that we just go for better versions of adaptations, given that we've seen Voltes 5 to be at its current level at the moment? So let's get the blood out of the way. Lee, ano bang simulan mo na?
Pumutok ng butchi mo dyan. Di, ano pumuputok ng butchi mo?
Just to answer your question first, hindi ko muna itatouch yung ibang point. I think they should have the attention sa mga local IPs natin. I mean, Pedro Penduko, if they did that as a better live adaptation and gave the budget that Voltes 5 has, I think it will go big. Kasi isa yun sa mga original na creation sa Pilipinas that was not adapted from any other characters mainstream media in the US. Unlike Captain Barbell, Darna, let's be honest, those characters were adapted from other characters in the Western cinema. Kaya whenever I think about what IP will be good for a better adaptation or improve adaptation, I can only think of Pedro Penduko, or at least now Trece is there, and I think it deserves a better budget and time to produce. Kasi um, it's such a nice story. The lore, our history, our culture is all in there. When we talk about those two franchises, that's Filipino. Walang ibang makakapagsabi na those are in the other countries. Sa atin lang siya. So I think it's okay to do adaptations every now and then. Like Voltes 5, I understand why they would do an adaptation of it because it's culturally ingrained. It was introduced. It's basically the anime that introduced the Filipino people into other animes, other cartoons, and it started a trend in the Philippines. That's why nagkaroon na ng mga anime sa hapon, anime sa umaga, anime sa Sabado. It was because of Voltes 5. We grew up around it, and now we are really excited about it. So hopefully the next adaptations will be more focused on the Filipino IPs that we have. That's my take.
Nice. Thank you. Moving on to the East Coast. Let's hear Shin. Shin, I heard that you have had substantial experience working for certain things that are entertainment related. I don't want to get too much of that.
West Coast.
West Coast pala. Sorry. Because maghahansain ako. Ikaw, ano palagay mo pare with the local, what is your exposure to local content? Tapos palagay mo ba we can have that instead, or we can double down on adaptations?
Para sa akin, first and foremost, my love Charo sa lahat na nandyan, and sa asawa to be ko na nandyan, Momo French, hi Han. One thing kasi pretty much kasi the same thing like sinabi ni Kuya Lee kanina, na it's Voltes 5 is already ingrained kasi sa culture natin, di ba? But the way that I see it din naman kasi, it was kind of like a step up for us Filipinos to actually try out certain level of visual effects on a teleserye scale, not as a movie scale. Because if you guys think about it, Bong Revilla has already thrown way too many effects whenever he tries to make a Manila Film Fest movie, diba?
Yeah.
So now that you think about it, dito it's like they're gonna try to do a series. Now, para sa akin, I agree na kailangan talaga. I think why don't we just like continue focusing on our own? Kasi dito sa I see the point of Voltes 5 being adapted because it's part of our culture na. Tayo mga batang 90s, pang 80s, lumaki tayo lahat dyan. But the problem with that is that like sa akin kasi, do they need to actually use nostalgia and also pushing new technology to actually bring up the hype? Considering na, sa akin kasi, there is going to be a lot of conflicting feeling in regards to adaptation. It's not just like with Voltes 5 alone itself. If you think about it, the rest of in the entertainment industry all over the world, give me one or two adaptation that worked. Kung mahalata natin si Kuya Chino, the way that he can rage and pouring salt in regards to Mortal Kombat, diba? So the way that I see it is that like whether they release it or not, there's always to have a bad connotation or a bad impression. Because first and foremost, it's like, wait, what? We're the ones who's gonna make it? What? Why? Kasi we see it as like it may be something that is a part of our culture, but it's not from us. As harsh as it would say, Voltes 5 is a part of our childhood, but it wasn't created by us. It was created by a different company, a different country, and as far as like the themes are concerned, they are far more familiar with it than we do. There are certain contexts within that that Super Robot series that hindi natin alam. And let's face it, guys. This is the way that I would also say to the rest of you guys dito sa taas and kayong mga nandiyan sa baba. Don't you guys think na are we just protecting really Voltes 5, or are we really just protecting our nostalgia, our childhood in regards to this? Kasi
that's
kasi like if you think about it, guys, let me ask each and every one of you, pati kayong mga nandiyan sa baba, napanood niyo ba yung buong series in Voltes 5 from start to finish?
Why did you say that? I'm rewatching it right now.
Well, now, yes. Kuya Trix, now.
Rewatching. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but
just to
like when
refresh
we were,
my memory.
yeah, but when we were growing up, nung yung mga kapanahon na natin, and we're not just talking about us geeks who's been watching it, but let's talk about like the rest of the people na yung mga pangmasa. Have they rewatched it from the very beginning to the end? If you think about it, ang batang 90s, hindi yan batang 90s, kundi yan nakaramdam ng rerun.
Alright.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
So that's why I was thinking na ngayon na malalaki na tayo, may mga asawa at anak na tayo and whatnot, are we really protecting Voltes 5's integrity, or really just protecting the childhood that we have? Because we know what are the chances that remakes, meron certain the treatments sa mga yan eh. And we know what they're gonna do. A lot of series has gone through that, so most likely Voltes 5 will go with the same. So, personally, go with like what we have. Let's not touch Voltes 5. Yun yung stand ko dyan eh.
Yeah.
Sige, Trix. I mean, Trixter, who's currently rewatching the series, currently right now, and I know we watched it together growing up. And what you've seen so far, what do you think about it? Is another adaptation something we should be focusing on, or do you think it'll be better if we just spend that money somewhere else and grow our own talent?
Oh no, I'm with him. We should really just focus on our own IPs and stuff. We have very much untapped potentials there that haven't been fully explored. Because when it comes to adaptations, people who are fans of the franchise will inevitably compare it. Like, is it a good thing or a bad thing? For me, I'm just curious how it's going to go down, like what they're going to change. Will I like the change, and how will that affect my viewing experience compared to what I had before? So that's why we like say like how many times have we seen what was that Panday, right? The last one, yeah, but the last time it was adapted was questionable, but
Questionable. Magnanakaw ba? Bakit questionable?
do you not agree?
I do.
Ang tunay na Panday ay si Pandoy.
Si Pandoy, ang alalay ng Panday.
Panday.
Tandaan niya.
Ang alalay ng alalay.
Like one of my favorite Filipino hero IPs here is Panday, because it's not your as a concept, he's not your conventional superhero, right? He's a blacksmith, and he's using a dagger instead of your usual big man sword. So to me, like, yeah, there's some potential there. We need to see more of what he can do and his adventures, like as opposed to adapting certain other IPs, like say Voltes 5, right? If we can bet that they're not going to follow it one for one, since they are going to change some stuff there, as expected from certain things, certain adaptations I've seen already. You've seen already, so they want their own take on it, instead of following the story like usual. That's fine. I don't mind having liberties on it, but don't change it too much that it will But that's not what we're going to get our way when it comes to adaptations to anyone. Even Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic. No,
Sonic was adapted to a movie.
Yeah,
and
but
that worked
it never followed any story. The only thing it followed was the character design, the personalities. That's it. So yeah, we should focus more on our own brands. We have like Sugo or Mulawin. Those were great. They have great lore inside them.
They have a good premise.
Really old shows, man. Like, wow, I love these things. I love it.
Pintados, di ba? Like, that was an original concept, and if they remade that into the modern setting, I think it would be good, because tattoos is a very big part of the Filipino culture.
Right.
Plus, they're making their own. They're making their own fantasy, right? Like,
Correct.
Right, exactly. Right.
Speaking of somebody who's just turned old, Rene, you have entertainment experience. You've caught all of these things that were mentioned.
Yeah.
And
Turned
as
old.
an
Somebody can turn
entertainment,
old. Okay.
automatically when you reach 40-year-old. Okay, so
Ouch.
matik na yun, matik na yun.
My goodness. Okay.
And this
See.
Captain Mike, he doesn't qualify as old. He qualifies as ancient.
Relic,
Okay.
ancient.
Age check. Sinong pinakamatanda dito?
Si Captain Mike.
Captain Mike.
Talo ka.
Captain Mike.
Talo ka.
Without
Talo ka.
hesitation.
Without
Captain Mike.
question.
Really?
Captain
Captain Mike.
Yeah,
I-
Captain Mike was in the live studio taping of the Flintstones. Is that
Why? Straight question. Captain Mike, how old are you?
Magpo 43. Yeah.
43. Okay.
Uh,
I'm 50 years
Physical-
Can you stage age? Yeah.
Physical bodies are not counted. The thing is, this thing has been in existence since time immemorial. So sabay na sila Kronos, mga ganon.
So nung ginawa ng Diyos yung Garden of Eden, naglalakad-lakad na si Captain Mike.
Siya yung ahas. Siya yung ahas.
Sasabihin mo lang, skipper lang.
Nung ginawa yung Garden of Eden, he actually had recommendation.
What's the gardener?
Parang mas maganda siguro kung
You know, just be thankful you're not being treated like Captain Mike. Just
siya yung
happy you're not being
nag-Twitter
treated like that.
Correct. Pero sige, let's go back to Rene. Rene, you've seen most of these things.
Si Mike yung
actually-
gardener.
Oo.
Okay.
Ay, tapos na ba tayo? Okay.
Tapos na. Is it? I even saw a really interesting comment here that says, why Voltisfy, why not other things? Which is, also a very interesting thing on its own. We could have gone for Voltron, we could have gone for Mazinger Z, but basically the answer to that, the answer to that is basically Voltisfy is the most popular among Filipinos. So then again, that tells you that it's really after, somehow answering what Shin mentioned earlier, it's really after the fans, the people that can relate to it. But Rene, what is your take on that? I mean, you being an entertainer and in the entertainment industry per se.
Here's the thing. From someone who came from that industry, a lot of fans who are upset about certain changes may not be looking at it from the side of the producers. In every production especially here in the Philippines, let's not forget that the Philippines is still a third world country. Production-wise, it's still a business. It's always a business. A lot of the complaints I've seen about this adaptation is that they're put badly. It's being Filipinized with the love story and things like that. But they have to understand that from a business standpoint, the core fans aren't really the main target audience, because the core fans will watch. They will watch regardless of what they include. So what they're doing is they're trying to widen the target audience. Yes. So of course you have your typical audience who watches in that time slot or whatever time slot that they decide. I'm pretty sure they're putting it in prime time. The watchers of prime time, they look for certain things. So that's why they add those elements. The things that the fixed audience are already there. So I'm approaching it from that. I'm not really, I don't have strong feelings about this adaptation aside from excitement, because I'm excited. We're all glossing over the very important announcement that they made about the crossover, because apparently they're including Big Bird in this series. Big Bird is, I'm a big Sesame Street guy. I love this work. So to see him being a part of
And don't forget the rapper, Little John.
Yeah,
The
Little
rapper,
John's
Little
Pizza
John.
is also sponsoring this series. So
yeah.
Little John's Pizza. I am so happy that you're joining Voltus 5 with Big
I
Bird.
can't wait for the soundtrack.
It's
It should be a
big
banger.
deal. So I am looking forward to it just to see one of my childhood heroes, Big Bird, on
And Steve from Blue's Clues. Steve from Blue's Clues is actually going to be in it. Steve from Blue's Clues.
Oh yeah, there's
Medyo naiba yung itsura ni Big Bird. No? I remember him being young.
No, that's what I'm
may
saying.
creative liberties,
If Big Bird's gonna be there, Snuffleupagus is about to make a Hello, big
Except that
man.
nobody else is gonna see him, di ba?
Nobody else sees him, but the Bosanians do. Like, there's
Yeah.
a huge
Just
fully
the Galapagos is going to be a beast fighter.
He is the Brazilian.
Sige, Banyaga native, since we have seen, mga kaibigan, kung pupuntahan niyo yung page na, we have seen some very strong sentiments coming from Banyaga native, which we understand, and that's one of the reasons why nandito siya ngayon. So please grace us with your wisdom. What are your thoughts on this? And just as an added flavor to it. What was that post about, man? Like, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Spill the tea, baby.
Here we go.
Well, initially, yun na nga, as somebody who was there for the first run of the initial series of Voltus 5, I'm 50 years old. I was there for the Monday to Friday slot, Monday being Mikanda Robot, Tuesday Dimos, Wednesday Mazinger Z, Thursday Grandizer, and Friday Voltus 5. Ayan. So I was there from Monday to Friday. I saw the original run, and as Mamuchu says, I never saw the ending until years later because yun na nga, tayo sa Pilipinas, marami tayong puro mga reruns dati. My post was an initial reaction to how they threw in elements that were not there during the initial run. As in talagang, of course, much like a lot of Filipinos, para tayong mga Pilipino, we're very protective of our childhood. Sabi nga ni Mamo Chu, yung nostalgia natin is extremely strong. And the fact na nga na gusto nating ipasa yung mga nakaraan natin sa mga anak-anakan natin at saka sa mga apo natin, it's something important to us na kapag naiba yun, it tends to not be something ours anymore, or maybe something that doesn't, it's something a little different that we're not completely on board with. Pero after my initial bugso ng damdamin, hindi ko mapipigilan yon dahil part of the Philippine consciousness was growing up watching all these shows like Little Lord Fauntleroy, Princess Sarah, yung mga Candy, yung mga ganun, yung mga lumang panahon ng mga anime dati, Astro Boy, and of course, the Big Five. Not to mention yung mga lesser known robots like Balatak and yung mga ibang mga yung mga robot dati.
Damn, Balatak, man.
The ugliest super robot I've ever seen, honestly. It's something, yung initial na damdamin ng bugso ko na they're changing my childhood. I stopped and reflected on it, and I thought, yeah, like Rene says, it's an adaptation. So they might want to broaden the audience. They might want to introduce new elements that weren't there. And when I stopped and looked back at the original series, it was the Monster of the Week format. Kada episode na mapapanood mo, halos pareho-pareho rin yung mga format na dumadaan eh. May konting conflict na family, tapos biglang may lalabas sa Beast Fighter, tapos lalabas si Voltus 5. It's kind of rare na may kakaibang nangyayari. Like makikita mo na maghihiwalay si Little John, tapos hihiwalay siya ron sa Voltus 5 na robot. And those things were few and far between. I know that it's a little controversial on my part na masabi ko ito, pero I honestly favor the Philippines adapting a few more foreign properties because it showcases our talent as adapters of foreign properties. Sure, we might flub it every now and then, pero when you look at other at other countries like India, Bollywood, or America, when it starts to adopt yung mga ibang mga K-dramas roon sa mga movies nila and everything, adaptations are inevitable, and it's something that it's not really something that should be tearing something down sa Pilipinas, because it might serve as a stepping stone for us to build our talents. It doesn't necessarily mean that we'll exclude local content dahil like 13 na-adapt na yan, yung mga ibang mga potential pwede ma-adapt kagaya ng mga Alagad ni Kalanchaw ng mga lumang mga panahon, or yung mga yung mga ibang mga properties. Sometime in the far future, I might envision that the Mars Ravelo universe might be adapted into a Justice League style or Avengers style movie na nandiyan yung Panday, nandiyan si Darna, nandiyan si Captain Barbell, all teaming together as one giant team, the Mars Ravelo universe, ganun with special guests na Pedro Penduque and si Commander Bawang. So in essence, nakikita ko na ito, parang panghasa ito sa ating mga Pilipino na mas gumaling tayo sa ating production, sa ating storytelling, sa ating kakayahan bilang visual artists, sound artists, and everything. Hindi siya necessarily to our detriment. Kailangan natin gamitin ito para ikagaling natin sa industriya. Yun ang aking opinion.
Correct.
That's true.
Correct. Before we proceed, let's address the elephant in the room. And I totally agree with what you're saying. It's definitely something na gagamitin natin to improve ourselves. There are also a lot of IPs that we have that we could give the treatment. But let's face it, the one thing we have a problem with here is the unnecessary romance angle. Let's address that. Let's address the elephant in the room, and that's probably the only problem that where most of these things are coming from. And I want to throw the question now to Jaz. Jaz, you being one of the youngest members of the group, and that you have actually siya yung active mag-share ng mga bits and news sa GC. You being exposed to this without that extensive background as Banyagang native and obviously Captain Mike. How do you see this, and what is your angle on the love story Tris that's being injected to make it more to widen the audience base, as Rene and Banyagang native mentioned?
Putting love story in it is just basically putting a Filipino twist. Tulad na sinabi ni Rene, it all boils down to how many people will watch and how much ad revenue they're gonna get. So if yun yung gusto ng prime time, like why not give the watchers what they want, right?
Right.
But yung sa akin lang, love story is fine. I'm all for love, Heneral loves love, right?
Oh, I'm a lover, not a fighter, baby.
I'm a lover.
Interject. Ito, to interject yung kay Jazzy, fan service is not a bad thing. Fan service is actually something that helps cement people's opinion on something. Fan service for the original fans like me, yung makita yung Voltes 5 in an updated manner, and fan service for potential audiences na baka gustong naghahanap ng love story na nga, ganon. Well, yun na nga, as an original fan, makita nga natin. And anytime na makita mo yung Voltes 5, palagi tayong lalabas. Talo ako rin sa display ni Jazz. Yung Funko Pops niya, bilib ako dyan. Yan yung bilib ko. Pero again, fan service is not bad. Fan service is not a bad thing. That's my opinion, and I'm not quite sure if Jazz agrees with me on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Fan service is not bad, but as long as they don't shove it down our throats every single episode.
I agree.
Have one episode of puro lovey-dovey, it's fine. But every episode, please, no.
As always, moderation.
Ang weird no? One episode lang.
Right.
Nagawa ka ng filler to...
I love you!
Filler episode.
But we have to break up. Okay na.
No, but when you think about it, how many episodes were Jamie's and Mark's love story showcased in the original
Not
series?
many. I mean, not many.
No,
It
she's
was-
more of a big sister, really. Like every time
exactly.
Everybody.
There would always be a problem within the team. Jamie would be the one to be the voice of reason.
Yes, that's true. And everybody was shipping Steve and Jamie, but actually it was Mark and
Was
Jamie.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was Mark and Jamie. There was actually one episode of Attention where Jamie was trying to be the voice of reason, diba? And then all of a sudden, she's trying to talk to Mark. And Mark was like, do you actually wanna watch me shirtless?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that tension that time. Pero as far as Steve and Jamie,
Nothing.
no, it's more of like a fraternal they have a fraternal bond.
Yeah, they were
And I guess
family.
I guess that's one thing that really gets our goat. Tayong mga originals na there's I could be wrong sa trailer, pero they were kind of moving in that direction na si Jamie at saka si Steve. Yung mga original, as in the people who actually knew that it wasn't Jamie and Steve, it was actually Jamie and Mark. It kind of rankled our goats. Pero for those of other people who were shipping si Steve at saka si Jamie, then it was a plus thing, diba? So,
Right. Right. I just want to throw this question to Chino, but before I throw this question to Chino, two things I want to do. I wanna give a huge shout out to our star-studded comment section. Kanina ko pa nakikita eh. I just want to give a huge shout out to
Grabe.
Harem. Harem, you're here, sir. Harem Rempilio is here.
RMX Customs, man.
Alex Customs, and of course Joseph Romel Ramos of Comic Quest is here also.
Woohoo!
Tio
Joy!
comment yan, love story pala eh. Di Viva Max presents Fushigi Yugi. I
I would watch that remake. Okay.
Secondly, I want to give you guys another special guest. Dapat kasama talaga to begin with eh. But now that he's free and he has been freed from the shackles of adulthood, let's all welcome Mr. Joe RPG joining us.
Hello, kuya.
Oh my God, ganito pala dito.
Yeah.
And I'm taking notes. We're copying into their elements sa kwento bidyuhan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Actually, it's not copying. It's
Dyan, sa Barangay 336, 337, nandito po ako sa meeting ngayon.
It's not copying.
I love that.
Really borrowing.
Right.
Nice
Well,
one,
welcome, sir. Welcome to the show. Okay lang yan. We are very fluid when it comes to attire. No? Bahala. Tama naman, si Rene, sexy, di ba?
Actually, bawal nga yung si Rene, pero hindi ko alam kung ba't natin pinapayagan.
Ipinipising lang ng boss natin.
Wow!
Tama naman.
Sir, so before I give the floor to Sir Joe, who's just joined us, Noch has been holding this in for the longest time. He actually was one of the reasons why the topic was formed, and he has been in contact with very special people that are directly related to the source material, which is Voltes 5. And we have addressed the elephant of the room, which is the kalmali ha, may potential eh ha.
Relax ha.
Chances ha. Pero can you share with us, like what was it that you discovered when it comes to addressing the elephant of the room, the love story, and where do you stand, adaptations or local IP?
Really quick thing lang, si Paleets, nakikita mo yung vein niya sa forehead niya, yan pumipintig na.
No, I'm very happy, guys. Actually, tuwa ako eh.
Kaya ganyan yan.
Ang saya-saya ko, guys. Ang saya-saya ko. Tuwan-tuwa ako.
Kaya ganyan yan.
Quiz
Tingnan mo,
job.
mamaya
Fully. Hindi
yan.
na turf talk.
May isang tanong lang ako tinanong sa kanya. Inabot kami ng 10 minutes. Siya lang ang nagsalita.
Wala nang
Parang Netflix Resident Evil to pag ako nagsalita.
Go ahead, Nach.
Yeah, go
no, BJ and I, we were talking about this. Not Voltes 5 per se, pero as a whole, no, the entertainment industry as a whole. Pero since we're talking about it now, doon natin ipapasok. One reason kasi kung bakit natin hindi gusto yung mga nangyayari dyan is, aside from it being, sabihin nila, gagawing drama, gagawing telenovela, ganyan, which is, to be honest, mga kaibigan, maraming drama sa anime eh. There are a lot of drama sa anime. Sa Voltes 5 pala, originally, meron na yan eh. Di ba?
Yes.
Sa Fushigi Yugi, kahit di na natin mention yun, pero alam naman natin bakit eh. Diba?
Daimos nga lang eh. Oh.
In every anime, even animes like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, all these animes na modernized, lahat yan may drama, lahat yan may love story. So personally, I don't get the hate na baka gawing drama to kasi it is already. But ito kasi yun, we were talking about the Makamasa mindset, and really actually I've asked this to the other guys as well, kung ano yung para sa kanila meaning of it, no? So I've realized that the Makamasa mindset really is sa entertainment industry natin, regardless kung sino yung magiging target market kasi, we're all about the ratings. And if you're like streaming, if you're for ratings, if you're following the ratings or racing for the ratings, there's a certain guideline that you follow or there's a certain trend that you follow. Now, when you into that yung makamasa mindset kasi, ano nga ba yung makamasa mindset for everyone? One is, ang Pinoy, mahilig tayo sa drama. Hence, sino ba yung number one YouTube channel dito sa Pilipinas?
Oh, that's a good question. Sino nga ba?
Rafi Tulfo.
Kayo.
Oh.
He is the most highest earning.
Ayun, big fan niya ni Rapi Tulfo.
And bakit? Siyempre, Rafi Tulfo YouTube channel serves the Pinoys the drama that they need. Kung ano pang storya niyan. Actually, to be honest, kami ng wife ko, we followed it to a point na yung regarding kay Tekla. If you guys know Tekla.
Is it really drama
nun.
or mahilig lang talaga sa chismis ng Pinoy?
Both. Actually, I'll be getting to that. Kasi aside from drama, mahilig sila sa chismis. Medyo talamak tayo sa showbiz, linggo. Sa showbiz chismis. Na kahit, kumbaga, kumain lang si Kim Chiu ng ice cream sa Singapore, ibabalita natin. Why? Kasi, mahilig ang Pinoy makichismis. Hence, tayo yung isa sa mga top Facebook users. Because we love
Gossip.
diving
We actually
into
are number one.
different stories. Number one ba tayo yun? We love to go and see kung anong ginagawa ng ibang tao.
Mga intrimitida tayo. Yeah.
Now, going back to my point, no, yung makamasa mindset, when they're creating these shows, kung papansinin mo, ano ba yung mga tropes na pumapasok dito? Love story, love triangles,
Agawan.
broken house, agawan, nakawan,
Sa labas.
anak sa labas. Yung mga ganun, these are all tropes that they've been using for the longest time. Meron yan sa Darna, magkakaroon yan sa Voltes 5.
Spoiler.
Magkakaroon yan sa mga movies natin.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler sa Voltes 5. Sa labas.
Meron din yan sa mga movies natin. So, yun yung point eh.
No, honestly, sorry, Notch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Notch. Yung sa mga original na nanood ng Voltes 5, yeah, spoiler. Anak sa labas, meron yan.
Yeah, well, it is. If you think about it, ewan ko sa mga naaalala pa rin yung episodes, pero alam ko si Quiz Trix na panood niya to. Yung episode na kung saan merong gas na in-insert yung mga Buzanian sa robot ng Voltes 5. Ang naapektuhan lang si Mark at saka si Jamie. So, yung tatlo, hindi. Which actually hinted na half Buzanian sila.
Kapatid sila.
Yeah. So, that actually was already one of the hints there. And then, tapos at the same time, meron yung flashback nung father ni Steve, di ba? Na kung bakit napunta siya sa Earth, and at the same time, nung bata siya, binigyan siya ng peke na sungay para hindi malaman na wala pala siyang sungay kasi pag wala siyang sungay na Buzanian, magiging slave siya.
Yung statute of limitations ng spoilers dito, tapos na. As in, ilang taon na nga ba yung Voltes 5? 40 years ago?
It's already been like...
Wala spoilers, guys. Wala spoilers.
I swear to God, if somebody complains about spoilers in this show, I swear to God, I'm gonna kick you out of this.
Anyway, so to follow my point, no?
Continue, Notch.
Yung storyline ng Voltes 5, regardless if they follow the original one or if they add in some parts to it, it's really the target market kasi is yung makamasa mindset, which is the general public. It may not be me, it may not be BJ, it may not be Shin, pero sino ba yung nanonood ng TV dito? Not us. We don't watch TV. Kasi we're looking for something more. We know that there's something better out there. And this is another topic altogether, no? So hindi ko na siya habaan, pero tayo, we know that there's something better. Pero yung general public hindi nila alam why. Because they're being spoon-fed that this is the only content that you can watch or that is affordable for you to watch. And affordable kasi not everyone can subscribe to Netflix, Disney Plus, and all these, streaming So I mean, yung problema talaga is the entertainment industry itself and not si Suzette na nagsulat ng story ng Voltes 5. It's the mindset. It's the mindset. So I just want to answer yung question natin, which is Pinoy adaptations ba or Pinoy originals. I'd love to dovetail kung ano yung sinabi ni Sir Joel, ni Banyagang Native. We do need these adaptations. Bakit? If you guys remember, for the longest time, aside from having Sedi and Sarah, for the longest time, all the entertainment industry has adapted really is Pinoy originals. Darna was an original, and not to Darna was inspired by Varda. Then Varda was inspired by Superman. And to also agree to Momo Cringe, so that Darna was indeed older than Wonder Woman. Pero that's not the case. No? Ang sabi ko lang is we've had adaptations of our original stories from Captain Barbell, Pedro Penduko, Pintados, Joaquin Bordado. All these ones are original stories, and we've all adapted to that. Whether iba-iba na yung artista. I mean, Darna has like, ilan na ba yung naging artista Darna? 5? 6?
21.
Literal ba yun?
21.
I mean, sobrang dami na.
It's been so many.
Kaya
Anjaneta Bayari pa rin. Anjaneta Bayari.
Kaya nga,
I know why. Okay.
Adapting Voltes 5 is really a step in the right direction. Regardless if it will turn out good or not, it has to happen. It's bound to happen. Kasi kung hindi natin gagawin to, the general public, we won't ever know na kung ano yung meron dyan. What's better. Voltes 5 Legacy may not be better. It may still have that makamasa mindset, pero that's evolution for you. It starts out slow, pero when it hits, it hits. No?
Right.
Yeah, we're just hoping it's not Dragon Ball Evolution. Anyway.
Yes, we don't. Yes. No.
Ano si Dragon Boy?
Hindi yung
Ano
title.
talaga gusto ko eh.
Voltes 5 Evolution. Buti na yung title eh.
Dragon Boy.
There was a movie which was called Si Mario o Si Goku by William Martinez, and we're not doing that anymore. And because it's Sir Joe's turn. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, Joe RPG. Yeah.
With Joe RPG.
Welcome.
We want to get your thoughts on the matter, right? Fresh off of work.
Yes, you can see him still wearing his scrubs.
Yes. Hi guys. First of all, I would like to thank the G3 crew for having us here. This new show. Thank you so much for your inaugural show for 2023. Hi guys, Jens fans, and to all of the Pinoy retro gaming community dyan, si Sir Ray and si Sir JDM among the few. And in regards with this particular topic, and I've been listening to these guys ever since nung nag-drive ako pa uwi. And truth of the matter is, guys, I've been ever since Voltes 5 Legacy dropped the mega trailer. Oh my god! I've been involved in a few, maybe in a couple heated flame wars here and there. And in regarding with the trailer itself, I mean, the 5-minute trailer, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. And to all of you guys there in the chat that watched that mega trailer supposedly, one of the things that I've noticed on that trailer was they gave out almost all of the important plot points of the whole series. Like, if you are that person who watched Voltes 5 from its almost of its entirety back in the 80s and early 90s, and all of those key plot points are still vague in your minds. Why even show the trailer like that? So you basically give out the entire storyline to those people na hindi pa nakakalam ng Voltes 5.
Right. For the newer generation, for the younger
generation. So why show it like that?
They also
I would
gave away
argue
a major
that
spoiler,
even
that's right.
not to do any comparisons, right? Even Marvel Studios will only do as a quick snippet of their movies or their series in Disney Plus. This is Marvel Studios. They will only show you so much, just enough to get you curious, not exposing the key plot points. So what would be the point? So what's there to look forward to if you already showed the best parts of your show?
That's true.
Even though I keep saying Roby's Voltron. even the Bosanian what do you call it? Beast Warrior
Fighters.
or Beast Fighters. How many Beast Fighters were there in
Four.
on
There
the
were
anime?
four. There's a
In the
lot.
anime, we got
In the anime,
every
there's
episode,
a lot.
almost every episode, we got one.
In the anime, it was a monster of the week.
Yeah.
It was one of the- and here, I'm guessing, I'm not sure if they have I'm not sure if they have the budget to do all of them. So mga 4 or 5 lang yung pinakita nila sa trailer.
Clearly
and
not.
I have a feeling that yun lang yung kaya nilang i-afford. And maybe I'm wrong.
Oh my gosh!
In regards with the romance angle, Kuno. So I've been listening to these guys, and the guys are right, guys. These gentlemen are right. Mark, it was just Mark and Jamie sa totoo lang. If there were any hints of romance, it's either the Armstrong couple, and maybe those two.
Yes, the Armstrong couple, yeah.
With Steve, Big Bird, and Lil Jon, I'm pointing to you guys who's been defending this.
Big Bird.
Those three, ang kanilang issue is just parental issues.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are their character
Armstrong
arcs to begin with. Mark was the cool guy. He could have led the Voltes team. Sa totoo lang, he could have led them. He was the more mature kind of guy. Maybe a little bit abrasive here and abrasive, rough around the edges, but
He was the tough love of the group, eh. Siya
The
yung
hot
tough
blood.
love.
Yeah, the hot-blooded one.
He's hot-blooded, but you know where he's coming from, and he's not as privileged compared to the three boys. Mark was a self-made guy.
He also had family problems.
Jamie, Jamie, daughter of General Robinson,
who is also
martial
ninjutsu.
artist, right? Huge ancestral line of martial artists, ninja, and she's and I've been saying this in the, on one of my arguments on my Flame Wars. Jamie never really needed a man to define her character.
True.
So she was an independent, self-sufficient lady who can handle her own. And now that I'm thinking about it now, it's a slap in the face. Why she should be on the very bottom of the hierarchy? She's the foot.
Actually, she only burst higher sa story when her father died. That was the only time that she actually gained a bit of parang tawag dito, di ba?
Spoiler. Okay.
Yeah.
Pag may nagalit talaga na may spoiler,
spoiler pa din.
Let me give you one. Just really sorry to cut you in, but I just realized something that you mentioned, that you asked if they would have the budget to do all of the monsters, right? And you're right, it's monster of the week. Most of the time, almost every week there's a monster, except for the time that they could not beat the monster and they have to come up with that electro ball to stop the blink.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Voltes 5 Legacy has 80 episodes.
80 compared to 40 in the original.
Compared to 40. That's what I'm saying.
Oh God, I'm afraid
So you
now.
have an
Fuck.
80 episode.
I know, alam ko ano mangyayari. Alam ko ano mangyayari.
Sige, go ahead.
Anyway, go ahead, Sir Joe. Go ahead. I'm just saying.
Wait lang, alam ko ano mangyayari. 80
Sige.
episodes. 80 episodes.
Abangan.
Sa buong 80 episodes yun, merong isang big body. May bigote. At mangingidnap. Sure ball.
Pambira.
Sure ball. Wala bang sayawan sa beach na nakabikini?
Maybe siya episode yan.
Yung mga,
Yun na nga, merong scene sa beach eh. Yun yung nakakairita. The subplot
Wala na yan.
about the
Wala
love
na yung
the love
scene sa
triangle.
beach.
Tapos
Private pool
nasa
na,
beach
private
sila. They
Hey,
were
guys. Layuan niyo si Steve, alright? Layuan niyo si Steve.
Paano namin
Layuan niyo si Steve.
paano namin lalayan si Steve? Paano namin lalayan si Steve? Kasi sasabihin sila, walang ibang masa.
Yun na.
Wait. I don't know why you guys are complaining, no, pero I just want to say may piece about yung mga ganyan.
Hindi mo alam
go
kung bakit, Mike?
Bakit siya naging 80 episodes? I hope na hindi sa 30-minute run per episode, 15 minutes lang doon yung palabas.
Please, John, no.
Kasi parang slam dunk yan.
Hey,
Nag 3 points.
let's be honest. That's what they're gonna do. Let's not kid ourselves here. Wag na't maglokohan dito na per episode mahaba yung episode and there won't be longer ads on the TV show.
I've suffered that.
Ads will be longer. That's guaranteed. It's free TV. That's how they earn money. I agree with Rene. I agree with Sir Banyagang Native. I agree with Jaz. It's from a money standpoint. I understand that.
Hindi ka nag-agree.
The problem is that I can see all the time when they do this kind of adaptation is they okay lang naman yung subplot ng love story. But if you say it's a subplot, why is it in the trailer?
Good point.
Right.
That's
Good point.
I would like to say something about the trailer. Same thing yung sa ni-raise na point ni Joe RPG about revealing important plot points in the trailer. It's from my perspective, it's actually a very Filipino thing. Lahat ng trailers for local movies, usually, if you remember, back then, halos lahat, yung buong pelikula, kita mo na hanggang ending. If I don't know if it's still being practiced today, but the mentality behind that is, as we alluded to earlier, it's supposed to target a wider audience. It's a way to promise that there's going to be something for everyone. The mentality of the mass, yung general audience ng Pilipinas is, surprisingly enough, marami dyan na ayoko manood kasi baka hindi happy ending. That's why in the trailer, they show yung na mananalo yung bida. Ayoko manood yan kasi baka walang love story. That's why they showed the love story. Another reason why the love story was showed in the trailer, probably, and this is just me spitballing, I don't know who the actors are, but there's also a big possibility that the actors portraying dun sa love story ay may love team sila na minamarket. So that's also a way to hook the fans of the love team who may not be interested in Voltes 5 to actually watch Voltes 5. Kasi mga dalawa, magkikis sila.
Ayan, RPG has an opinion. Ayan, RPG has an opinion. Right there. Ayan, RPG has an opinion. Let's hear him out.
In regards naman po sa argument of a wider audience, and I get that. I get sa mga sirs, they brought interesting points there. And the back of my mind is saying na, okay, Voltes 5 was shown in the 70s, 80s. So, kung ang target natin ngayon ay mga dapat kasama mga matatanda, tayo ang matatanda. We are all the matatanda.
True.
Yung iniisip nila mga matatanda, they could care less. They would rather watch Tulfo and Bongbong Marcos. Right. And tayo matatanda. Gusto ko to drop. Because we grew up with this. We were the ones who grew up with this. I understand even the niche community. You know, the breadth for an adaptation to survive, you should always cater to the niche community with but it's a balancing act between appeasing the casual fans and not alienating your bread and butter.
Pero Chris, Joe, I have a question. Does it always need to actually have a Temptation Island vibe to every love story?
Because that's the Makamasa mindset.
Yeah, you have to accept Mamuchuna. You have to accept Mamuchuna. Even here in the US, 90 Day Fiancé is a huge thing. For those of you who are, it's mahilig tayo sa drama, mahilig tayo sa chismis, mahilig tayo sa mga. I'm not saying na it's something that we focus on, hyper focus on, pero people can't live without it. Honestly, it's something that it's a realization that producers have come to na people do like it, and
It's human nature.
And then,
it's really
if-
something that people crave.
if you can remember any show or any movie without romance or without a family problem or without drama, may naalala ba kayo?
Does it
Let me
have
think.
to be a show?
Whatever. Kahit sa comics eh. Kahit comics, pag-usapan natin yan.
It's the human condition. Everybody
I have to agree on
has to
this
go
part.
through something talaga. Everybody's goes through drama in one form or another. Hindi mo
Right.
talaga maiiwasan yon.
Ang-
And it's,
ang
I
pinaka-
guess it's
I
something
think-
na nare-relate ng mga tao. It's what gets people to relate to the material. Go ahead, Chino. Go ahead.
I think
sorry,
what we're
Hang on.
I think what we're targeting here really is yung mga tropes na ginagamit natin. Isa sa mga tropes na madalas ginagamit is either dapat yung superhero mo mahirap or dapat yung protagonist mo mahirap or pangit or mataba. Alam mo yun?
Basta undesirable. Underdog
Underdog ka dapat. And then biglang magiging ganito ka. Captain Barbell started as such. Darna also started like that. No? Lahat yan ganyan eh. It's because of the tropes. And I go back to dun sa minimension ko na makamasa mindset kasi tama si Rene. Hindi naman, let's say, hindi naman ako yung binebentahan nila. Hindi naman kayo, hindi naman tayo. We don't watch TV. Pero sino ba ang binebentahan nila? Yung mga nanonood ng TV. Yung, let's say, sige, older generation tayo and we were the ones who caught Voltes 5 here.
Yeah,
Pero
we were the
remember,
ones
guys,
who have this. Yung mga
yan. Ganda naman
yeah, yung
yan.
mga, we were the ones who have these kinds of things. Ganun. Anyway, continue.
Unboxing na lang.
Ninong,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Anyway.
Ninong, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, how about you?
So, tayo nga nakaabot doon. Pero hindi tayo yung nanonood ng TV.
Agreed.
There's a different generation and they're trying to target the newer generation na yung posibleng magsabi na spoiler ka. Ulul, alam na namin yan, no? Hindi na spoiler yan.
I just want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say something about that, and I just want to bring an adaptation in the US, and that's The Witcher.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
No.
Ganda yun.
Sige. What was that? The Witcher
The Witcher.
Witcher Dragon Ball Evolution.
Blood what? Blood
Origins.
So here you have some really big IP, right? That everybody notices, and obviously this has something to do with Dragon Ball Evolution, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil from Netflix.
Mention the title again. I'll kill you.
They will mention the title, and that's the thing. They will mention the thing that this is a big thing for gamers, for old people, for whatever, right?
Right.
And then they use it to market it. But in reality, it's not really for those people who recognize the IP. And going by the logic
It's
of
a bait and
everybody,
switch, yes.
I'll do you
it's a
one
bait and
better.
switch. What?
I'll do you one better. Not The Witcher. Rings of Power.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So,
Now we're stepping into it. Okay,
you
go
have-
ahead, Trixter.
You have Rings of Power.
No. It's
Oh my
fine.
God, it's Sir Joel.
No, I-
No.
I'm a huge Tolkien fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because Witcher is a lot less known but still popular.
yes.
Right.
The Silmarillion, on the other hand, you have Tolkien, experts there,
Yes.
where they said that they hired Tolkien experts. Then when you watch,
And
it,
didn't listen to them.
And they fired them right away.
And they
Right.
fired them right away. Yeah.
They find them, and that's why Henry Cavill is no longer in The Witcher. Because here, this is what they do. They get really big names, pandron ng tao. Oy, ito Voltes 5 Legacy, Astig, Laser Sword, all that. But it's not really for those people who you got the IP.
Oh, do
for.
not remind me of Monster Hunter, please.
Monster Hunter is another thing.
Yeah.
Right? Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah, can I just say one thing? Can I just say one
Resident
thing?
Evil.
If
Oh,
you
sure,
see
go ahead,
any
go ahead.
movies that has Mila Jovovich on it, just don't watch it.
Resident
Yes,
Evil.
agree.
Because
I
you know
mean-
that like if Mila Jovovich is part of it, you know, not just close by, her husband is probably the one who's directing it.
Right,
And
yeah.
we know that what he's gonna do with that freaking movie. I'm gonna put my wife into this kind of like
Oh,
this
God.
this thing that like even though there is a canon character, it doesn't matter. Mila is going to be the main character, and she's gonna be better than Jill.
She'll
and
be
Claire.
the strongest
She-
person ever.
Oh my god, dude! Seriously, shut up.
Now that it has been mentioned, now that Henry Cavill has been mentioned, all I can say is that they have to make him the new James Bond. That's all. They just have to
That
make him the new
would,
James
that
Bond.
would make it fit, actually. He'd make a perfect James Bond.
He's
was
done
British.
secret agent roles before.
No, he was
The
in
Man
Man
from
from Uncle. If you
Uncle.
guys have seen
Man
Man
from
from Uncle,
Uncle,
that
yeah.
was an
Man from
amazing
Uncle. Yeah,
Oh, that's a
Bond,
classic
you know.
one. Oh.
He was basically James Bond without being James Bond. Yeah.
What about the Street Fighter adaptation?
Well, Street Fighter, right? I mean, take a look at it. Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the only person that made it really good was, of course,
Raul Julia.
Raul
Raul
Julia.
Oh, Julia.
Yun lang
Just
yun.
another Tuesday.
I would have said Kylie Minogue, but anyway.
No.
That's the reason why
Different
Van
story
Damme
yun,
was
sir.
not there.
Okay.
Yun, pang
Okay.
But
See,
No, honestly, it's adaptations. We can reach all the way back to the Philippine dubs of anime like Slam Dunk, like Yu Yu Hakusho and everything. Again, getting back to the topic, the fact is adaptations are beneficial
Sorry,
to our industry pa rin. No matter what happens, those Philippine dubs introduced a brand new group of Filipinos to anime. Without
Right.
that, anime never would have flourished in the Philippines. Of course, nowadays, sanay na tayo sa mga subtitles. Pero the fact is, dubs were the way to go back in the old day. So,
That's true.
in a way, it's going to be a good thing, in my opinion, if we adapt more foreign properties. But
Agree.
at the same time, we also have a look at what local properties can be adapted for international consumption.
Right.
So,
Right.
business-wise,
Yeah.
it's the way to go.
Oh,
Hindi
yeah,
ka-
that's
Just,
also-
just to add kay Sir Native, Banyaga Native, no?
Go ahead.
Kasi medyo may issue ako when we do foreign adaptations because I think it's
ikaw may issue? Oh my God.
it's a cash grab. It's a total cash grab. That's it.
Oh,
They-
absolutely,
yeah.
yes.
Yun lang yun, no? The reason why I admire
naman eh.
Korean directors and writers is because they do something original. And that made them bigger. They didn't adapt anything. They created their shows. They wrote their own materials. They didn't do anything that we are trying to do, which we can do because we have a lot of creatives. Tulad na nga na sinabi ni Suzette, the graphics was created by Filipinos. Then why can't we do that with our own IPs and become well known instead of becoming para tayo nag-a-adapt lang and then para na naman tayong outsourced resource para sa ibang country to do the graphics, which is my issue with that. But overall, you can see
you have to remember na dito sa Pilipinas, everything is a cash grab.
It's true.
Nothing
It's very
is
true.
not a cash grab.
I understand,
kahit yung mga Pinoy adaptations, dahil na palang cash grab na yun eh. 21 dahil na actresses. Diba? I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Well, I mean, we're ballparking here.
Listen.
I think ang point is Sir Joel
Naiintindihan kita,
really
Noch.
is.
Kasi lahat naman cash grab. Even movies, lahat ng Korean movies, it's a cash grab kasi they need to earn money. That's the
True.
point. But if you're gonna try and do something to earn money, make it an original. Kasi madami pang IP. We haven't gotten to point sa Pilipinas that we focused on our own original IPs. We haven't. Not
I
even
agree with Kuya Paleets eh. I agree with Kuya Paleets on this one kasi if you think about it, ang punto niya is that like, I see where Kuya Chino is going na maybe this time we have to actually venture out onto other things to see how far we could go with our evolution sa entertainment industry natin sa Pilipinas. But the thing is, na-agree ako kay Kuya Paleets na we haven't fully search. Hindi pa natin naano talaga yung pinaka full potential ng natin, ng mga original titles natin. We're already jumping into another title from a different country when, if you take in consideration, we haven't completely explored all of the things that we have.
they're starting to now. They're starting to now.
To contend though, Mamuchu, producers in the Philippines are risk averse, as in they're always worried about losing money. And the main reason that they're adapting a lot, and ratings, and the main reason that they're adapting a lot of foreign properties is this is subok na. kumita na ito ng todo
Proud
someplace
and
else.
true. Yep.
Whereas,
also-
whereas if you try a brand new property from the Philippines, it's a tremendous risk. As in talagang there's a big risk na mawawalan ng pera yung producer, and yun yung pinakaayaw nila. And
Yes, but
you have to,
Wait,
you have to remind yourself.
let me say one show na sobrang successful ngayon.
Go ahead,
Na
Palit.
originally Filipino. Crisostomo and Ibarra. Which is
Ayun yung sasabihin ko. Yun yung
Diba?
sasabihin ko.
That's Maria Clara.
What I was going to point out,
Maria Clara.
they're
and Ibarra.
starting to. You know,
Crisostomo and Ibarra are the
starting
same
to
thing.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine.
If you notice,
I watched some of the
lahat ng mga
episodes. It
naging-
was really entertaining, and
Really?
that is something that we can
Excuse me,
focus
pasok
on
ako.
because yung mga creative ganun eh. I mean, I agree. It's a step forward. It's a big step forward. The graphics, the way that they created the graphics. When I saw Voltes 5, para siyang Mazinger Z na Infinity version, yung Gunpla, it blew my mind. It's something that I didn't expect from the Philippines. That's a given. But again, just imagine if we did an original IP with that kind of budget. Diba? The exposure on
We
the
can.
Filipinos film market, it will be so big.
And that's the reason why I think, yun na nga, I'm sorry to say this, pero not contravening Paleets, pero the fact is, if we're adapting Voltes 5, and even the Japanese are having favorable opinions of the adaptation from what they've seen in the trailer, then it might open the door for local material to be exposed to other audiences, like the Japanese, like the Indians, like the Russians, like the Americans. Makita nila na maganda yung mga properties din natin.
But here's the thing, to also assist with Kuya Palis on this one, you did say that like takot sa risk ang mga Filipino productions, diba?
Yes.
Don't you think that what they're doing right now is much more riskier?
Not really.
This is actually make
Not
or break.
really. Not really. No, with Voltes 5, it's a built-in thing. It's
They
a
already
sure
got
fall.
paid.
Yeah.
They already got paid. Bitaw eh.
Yeah, if I may add on that, speaking about risk aversion, again, working from TV, I have to say from experience, it's really hard. It's really hard to sell an original story idea. Now, to highlight something, and again, I'm no longer involved in that, so I have no idea. This is just me theorizing. But Paleets recognize the timing of them taking a creative risk. That big network took this creative risk on this new yung Ibarra show during a time wherein they don't really have another major network to compete with. So that's the reason why the tropes exist way back then, because we had two major networks competing for eyeballs on the same time slot. Now, and to add to the point, Voltes 5 is a proven commodity. It's something that will earn money. Like I said, the first time I spoke on this episode, whatever shit they put there, you guys will watch.
Yeah.
Because it's still Voltes 5. It's the same reason why, even though people complained about it, I love Superman versus Batman. Because it's still Batman versus Superman on the big screen. I don't care how bad it was. I still enjoyed it. So you guys are already there. They already have your attention. They already have your money.
Like Rene says, you can bitch and moan, but you'll still watch it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Velma though.
Oh no, not Velma.
Guys,
Forget
believe it
Velma.
or
I watch
not,
Mortal Kombat,
I know.
diba?
I've been saying a lot of things because we were discussing if it's better to adapt foreign IPs or film IPs. But I gave Voltes 5 an 8/10, which is a really good score overall. I have a lot of points that I listed down. The only reason why there was a lot of backlash was because of the writer herself. Let's just discuss that for a little bit. If she didn't reply that way, I mean, I'm gonna put it out there. If she didn't reply that way to the fandom, there won't be that big of a backlash. I mean, the love story, the subplot, people will forget that once the show is going on. Right?
I really
Once
have
it's
to
on the
disagree.
show, everyone will forget it. But when you flame bait and you react that way, of course everyone will react to you. You will be criticized as well.
I have to disagree. I have to highly disagree.
Well, there goes our
Una-una
future
sa
guest.
lahat, Una-una sa lahat.
Okay.
You, let's say ikaw mismo, you are being talked about negatively. Sobrang negatively. And let's say, sabihin natin, sabihin natin, we have a certain level of patience for people like that. Pero kahit sa tayong 10, pag umabot na tayo dun sa line natin, you'll have to retaliate. You have to retaliate, guys. Remember, kung binasa niyo lahat ng kung binasa niyo lahat ng comments dun. Kay Lee pa lang, for example, sabog na. Sa akin, sabog na.
Wala pa ako sinasabi negative.
Wait. Kakasabi mo lang eh. Pero wait.
It's not something negative about Voltes 5 or anything.
Yun nga. No, we're talking about the person. Eh. And the fact is, umabot siya sa threshold na yun. At she retaliated. So, ano bang gusto, what do you expect from someone?
Gusto ko yung reply niya. Kasi if she didn't reply, hindi ko malalaman na nandun si Victor. So, it's a bit...
Diba? But hindi natin malalaman na hindi siya nanonood ng anime dati.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I mean, if she didn't reply, okay lang, sige. Pero ano ba mas gusto natin? Yung alam mo na binabasa yung sinasabi mo. Or yung ini-ignore ka lang niya at hinahayaan niya lang, bahala na, bayad na ako eh. Ako, I'd rather say na umabot siya sa threshold niya, lumaban siya, regardless, nakuha niya na yung pera niyo. Kasi eventually, manonood din tayo lahat eh.
So yeah, let's hear what
Evil. I watch Mortal Kombat, diba?
Let's hear what Trixter has to say.
Trixter has to say, and then Sir Joe.
It's just a question, really, on the subject of adaptations. What say you on the adaptation strategy of Saban?
Define. What?
Like
Power Rangers.
Ask Rider, Sailor Moon.
Saban, okay.
Like their own version. Like it's almost the same concept, but their own take on it. What say you on that kind of
adaptation? Is it the Power Rangers kind of thing?
Sir Joe,
kind of like
go ahead. Yeah, Joe seems to have an opinion.
Okay. Here we go.
Joe has an opinion. Go ahead.
Right. In regarding with Saban's take on Power Rangers. So Saban's take on Power Rangers, this came out what 96, 97? The original Martin Morphin Power Rangers. Nobody back then would have imagined that they used stock footage from the original Japanese Sentai. And then put it in a Beverly Hills style kind of scenario. It kind of made it its own thing.
Right.
If nobody knew Sentai, if you're the type of person who's not even following Sentai series, watching Japanese Sentai,
you
wouldn't even know
like,
that hindi pala
people like me, right? Yeah, for people like me na nanood ng Star Rangers dati, yung Goreng, ganun eh, no? So,
hindi ka magtatao kung bakit mas payat sila doon sa...
What do we have back then, Sir Joel? We got, the tattoo, what's the one? The
tattoo teenage alien fighter from Beverly Hills.
Right? That's the best that we had back then.
Yeah.
And masabi natin within the Sentai kind of genre, but with Saban, it was an adaptation on their part, and it really did a cultural impact. It made Sentai series a little bit more mainstream, to say the least.
Saban was a franchisee.
And there are other Saban produced shows. Remember Peter Pan? That's a Saban thing. And yung Peter Pan natin na pinapalabas sa Channel 2.
I still don't forgive him for Kamen Rider. I still
Kamen Rider,
forgive him for Kamen Rider. He ruined Kamen Rider for me. That's why I hate Saban.
Yeah, the one with the gem on the forehead. And the Ninja Turtles. No, forget that.
In regarding with their handling of things, they did made it parang it's an ingenious budgetary move din eh. Sure, we already have the stock footage of them fighting, right? The suits, the plastic costume monsters, even Rita Repulsa, right? Andun na sila eh. all they have to do is just shoot the high school.
American
What's the high
actors.
school?
Yung American actors. lang
What's the
naman.
high school of them? So
Or
all they have to do is just
Angel High.
find
Angel Grove.
5 teenagers
Angel
with
High.
attitude, and then you got your Power Rangers right there.
Hindi nga sila nagtaka na
And,
payat yung mga
And
Power
for the
Rangers.
most part, it might have been racist, kind of. But back
Might
in the early
have,
90s, we're not as
of course
politically
they are.
correct as we are now, right?
But then again, like in Avenue Q says, everyone's a little bit racist, right?
Everyone's a little bit racist.
I know someone who's not
That
racist.
point ni Sir Joe, no? At the time, Mighty Morphin came out, there was no, and I mean, hindi kasing researchable katulad ngayon. Meron na tayong sources like the internet now na malalaman
Very true.
natin na
Very true.
it was originally from. Then it was just TV and mail.
The
You
only
can-
sentence the only sentence that we knew was Maskman and Bioman Shider.
Exactly. And in the US, they don't have access to that kind of shows. right?
Brought them to our television scenes. Those are the only sentences that we knew at the time.
Sentai ba pinag-usapan natin? Kala ko hentai. Okay. Anyway.
Punta na tayo sa exciting part.
I mean, the thing is though, it's like you have to also understand yung sinasabi rin nila na ano that like the technology back in the day is different from now. And then also, let's face it na nung dinistribute sa ban ang Power Rangers, they don't have the same level of fandom of Sentai sa America to actually go and contradict them, to send mails and say na don't ruin it, we know how the original was. It was completely unknown.
In fact, it was the first time. It was the first time they had it.
I was actually thinking on adapting it to their own style. Like say this is our version of Pero
No, but then again, we'll get Zydo.
Parang kabayo.
But then again, you'll get Zydo then.
And then
right?
again,
but what about
Kabayo
that,
Kids?
though? Like,
Hindi
And
pa nga
that's
natin
in high school.
nag-usapan yung ibang Filipino adaptation. This is just Voltes 5 and it took us 1.5 hours to
Yeah.
pero
imagine if we went through Zydo. Oh my God!
Okay.
Ito yun That's why. Ito pala.
Guys,
Ito
teka lang.
pala yung
Nagkasalita sila yung
isang
tweet, guys.
that I wanted to include earlier. The reason why there was a lot of negative press and criticism because of the track record they have.
Yes.
Right? You need to give the
yeah,
public the ample understanding that you did something trash. So now that you're doing something maybe better or great, it will be criticized because you have a track record of that kind of shit.
Yeah, kasi
Right?
burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on
Exactly.
me. So,
yeah, but
Ganda naman yung Encantadia.
remember, Weeball still reigns supreme. Even
Maganda pa
Ayan,
yan.
what-
Maganda
what-
naman yung Victor magtanggol.
what does Mike have to say about this? What does Mike have to say?
Mike.
Victor magtanggol.
Mike.
I know Lee was very upset with Zydo, and for someone who actually watched the original ones,
The original sin.
there is no. There is an expectation kasi kaya maraming tao nagre-react doon. If you're going to ask me, I will still watch it. Abangan ko yan. Kung ano man ang maging outcome niya, whether it's good or bad. Just like this guy who watched this movie na napilitan siya sa mamahan loob niya kahit masama na yung loob nila, we will have to watch it kasi I will have to watch it kasi napanood ko siya nung bata ko eh.
Rene said.
Huh?
Yeah, like Rene said.
You just said what Rene said.
Wait. Hear me out. Tingnan mo na. I know.
Sige.
Hear me out. Pero kasi-
Mike has a point. Sige, let's see what Mike's point is.
Nung back in the day, wala tayo nung internet, wala tayong point of
Kailan
comparison.
pa yan?
dun.
Nung ginagawa pa yung Garden of Eden.
Yung tinayo yung Noah's Ark.
Sa Babylon.
Yung tinayo yung Noah's Ark,
Ilang taon
alam ko
na
na yan. Pero as someone who watched it when I was a kid, there is that expectation na, uy, di ba? Pagka nakakita ka from comics, di ba? Comics to movies. Di ba?
Yeah.
Say from cartoons to live action. As someone who saw it before,
The Blue
there
Girl
is that
production.
expectation.
Turutuki Doji,
There is
live
that
action.
expectation. Nadidistract ako doon kasi alam ko yung mga yan. Pero for someone who
Tindi ang
saw
itim.
it, nung bata pa, ang inaano ko lang is best of luck I want to see sana you won't disappoint the other people kasi it won't be for me. It won't be the case for me.
Bite ni Mike.
So yan din yung point of view mo sa historical movies.
Hindi, ang tawag lang na doon ay movies lang.
Dadaanan mo na kasi yan. Hindi. Ang tawag
But
nito sa
historical movies at least, historical movies at least will allow people to research for themselves what actually happened, di ba? Like, totoo bang nangyari ito? Ron kay Heneral Luna o kaya kay Gregorio del Pilar, ganun. In
Pero they
our
did.
case,
They did Mortal Kombat 2021 and no one stopped them. No? So, wala akong tiwala sa mga.
Pag si Chino yung nagsalita, babalik at babalik tayo sa Mortal Kombat 2020.
Kasi umpisahan kanina pa.
And before we even go back to that rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen,
back in it.
It's bad enough that we don't have a lot of time talking about it here, but it's much worse that we still don't know what's going to happen in the future. It is still coming, and there's no stopping Voltes 5 Legacy from coming in. Yes, we all agree that we're all going to be watching, but then again, at the end of the day, we think that it's just to really go back and circle back to Shin's first question. Are we really defending Voltes 5, or is it our childhood that we're defending? We actually have a poll at the bottom that was set up by Captain Mike earlier. Pick your choices, whether you pick adaptations or originals. But at the end of the day, we all just want to have some good fun. And when it comes to pitching our old childhoods, touching our, scratching that surface where our childhoods are the ones that are mentioned. Medyo touchy subject yan. And there really is going to be a tonnage of things that we're going to be saying. I saw a lot of great comments like Caballo Kids, Batman X, even hell, you guys remember Reciclo by Bong Revilla when there were these recycled mechs trying to defend the Earth? I mean, that was a great concept. It was also robots never got the treatment that it did. The story was bad, but that's
was it before Pacific Rim or was it after?
Oh, it was way before Pacific Rim.
It's way before.
Way before Pacific Rim.
But after Vegas XLR.
But after Vegas
Vegas
XLR. Okay, there you go.
And I just want to add, since you mentioned the poll, I would like to let everyone know na the original questions, if you are for adaptations or for originals, the answer is 100%, and that's 24 people.
Wow.
Went for originals.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, the original, nothing will ever compare to the originals. It's the absolute truth. Yeah, nothing will ever compare to the originals. It's just a question of whether or not the adaptation will do it justice, or if it's going to completely bastardize it. You know,
right. I like that.
Like
bastard, or lack of a better term.
For lack of a better term.
Never forget Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark.
Oh my goodness.
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. That's true. All those all those video game adaptations of the past.
Super Mario.
Adaptation of Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive. Oh, no, you haven't seen that one?
Yeah. No.
If
we are doing Dead or if we are doing Dead or Alive back in the early 90s, na lahat ng TF queens natin sa Pinas are doing it.
Ay, oh, yeah.
May Taken Films. Seiko Films presents Dead or Alive. No?
Dead or Alive.
Dead or Alive showing
They can use all the beach that they want. They can use all the coconuts that they want.
Right.
I don't watch that.
Coming from the
Puro
voices.
volleyball lang ginagawa nila, no? Wala silang awat.
Dead or Alive Extreme Vacation. If you guys are friends with Josh, you know he's online when he's playing that game. But
Pati Galpals.
Galpals, yan, mga yan. But guys, we unfortunately would have come to the end of the conversation, and I just want to hear from you.
Alam ko 3 hours tayo.
3 hours.
Extend mo na.
Extend. Kaya pa natin yan.
New Year show po, sir.
Sponsor ng mga nasa
Episode special.
Di ba favorite ka? Alam mo naman kay boss.
And besides, we haven't really had much of a time to acknowledge the people in the chats too.
Tagabantay lang po ako ng computer shop eh. Ano mo namang walang open time dito.
No, seriously, guys, okay, just the chat, guys. You are the backbone of the show right now. We are reading all of your chats, and all of you guys there are putting a lot of good points. But so let's probably give him.
Although I have to contend with Juan de Marcos though. I have to contend with Juan de Marcos na sabi niya na Net Medved daw siya instead of Anjanet. Laban tayo dyan, Juan de Marcos, sa
No, Anjanet is
Guys, marami na tayong sinasabi.
Anjanet
Marami
Sims.
sinasabi dyan.
Yes.
Mga comments. At the end of the day, alam naman natin na ako yung tama.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah. Can I say one last thing though before we
Favorite ni Boss yan eh.
Sige, kung okay lang.
Okay.
One thing about I just realized this when Paleets mentioned the writer losing their mind online. Here's the thing. It's not bad adaptations or bad versions of the things we love. They're not always the fault of creative. It's a reality. It's every writer that I've met. I could even say personally, we all come in dun sa trabaho hoping that we will create this one beautiful thing that would be our legacy, and sometimes it's not allowed because it's not what's good for business.
Yes.
That's the reason. That's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of these mainstream creators, aside they go to the major networks to make their paycheck, and they still opt to do indies because that's where they release their their full potential creatively. So I'm not saying all adaptations are not the fault of the writers or the creative people behind it, but that's also something as fans that we should at least consider. That if we see something in an adaptation that we don't like, maybe it's not always bad writing. Maybe it's just bad decision making.
Rene is trying to say corporate always steps in.
I actually have to
Corporate
I actually have to echo what Kuya Rene just said, because the thing is like karamihan sa mga nandito sa ba assume na ang sistema are all the same when it comes to entertainment. Pero the thing is that like, I don't know if it's okay if I say it a little, I'm gonna try to be as subtle as possible. Pero may politika din sa loob ng showbiz. Hindi lang dahil sa mga ano yan. There is actually a fight between the creatives and the talent.
And corporate.
And the corporate. Yeah, corporate talents and creatives. And the thing is, ang pinaka nababangga sa dalawang nag-uumpugang bato, yung mga writers. And believe it or not, yung mga writers at maski yung sabihin natin mga nag-write just sa Zai and whatnot, I can assure you, yung previous drafts nila, yun siguro yung pinakamang draft ever. Pero sabihin na lang natin na merong isa dyan na nagsabing, di ba bigyan mo naman na maraming screen time yung alaga ko?
Yeah.
All right.
That's true. Yes. That is almost always the case.
What if it's though?
One comment I used to hear a lot is masyado tong mataas, baka hindi magets.
Masyadong mataas. I see. Yung quality ng writing, I see.
Makamasa mindset.
Makamasa mindset. Hindi lang makamasa mindset.
But the good thing about Voltes 5 Legacy is that Toei was on it and they supervised most of the...
Masasabi mo rin ba yan sa One Piece na si Nobunaga?
Wala pa. Again, guys, when we criticize something, we criticize it at face value. Okay, just the trailer. Just the trailer. We haven't criticized the entire show. Again, like what Rene said, we're gonna watch it and give it a chance. For me, if it was bad, I wouldn't watch it, but I'm a critic as well. We do reviews, we do comments about it. So we have to watch something before we criticize. That's why I'm gonna watch it. But if I saw this and I'm not creating content, I'm gonna watch it because I grew up around S5. Right?
And yung palang
here's one thing that
Saido, kartolina lang pala yun na dinikit lang nila, no? You could have, sa dami ng tela sa mundo, you could have made something a little bit more freely. Bakit mo siyang cut out?
Actually,
we have nothing to complain.
Parang meron ka
we don't have time, but I want to at least let everyone know that the show or the trailer overall is a great thing. The movement of Voltes 5 Legacy, the step that it did for the Filipino creatives and the Filipino industry is great. It's not something negative. That's why I gave it an 8 out of 10. The subplot is just something that we're gonna forget later on. But I think it's a really good thing. I'm really excited for it. I'm totally positive about the show. the Brazilian fighters, the graphics. I hope the actors will do justice with their acting for the characters that we love the most growing up, and that is something that we wish to have in every adaptation that we see. We always wish something positive. We might have higher expectations than most people, but that is something good instead of, people, because people nowadays see when we have expectations it as something negative, that we are trying to be picky, but it's not. We're trying to be positive about something, and we wish something good for the shows that we love growing up.
Except
Ano
for
ba yung Voltes 5 na yan?
Sorry,
Ano
what
ba
was
yung
that?
robot?
Sorry,
Yes,
what was
sir,
that, Touch?
Yung graphics ng Dyna, it sucks.
I mean, I've seen clips of it online, and I haven't seen the show, but yeah, I have to agree with that.
They showed
I
that they showed
didn't
that
even
on
watch.
Facebook for Joel. I think there were these 5 superpowered people who broke out of prison, and then napapaligiran sila ng mga police, right? And then they shot real bullets, and then they showed their powers, exhibition of powers, and it's not very believable to say the least.
But
I
the
think
question,
there's
Joe,
something there in
is but the question, Joe, is this the kind that Philippine masa is gonna lap up? Yun ang question lang. How much are they willing to tolerate in terms of the quality of the content? So in Paleets' case, he's saying that us here in the panel and in the audience are only going to tolerate a certain amount, whereas in general, the audience might have a higher threshold of the, for lack of a better word, bullshit they're willing to take. You know?
He had one point.
Sabing
One
sana
point.
trash eh. Sabing sana trash. Pero okay.
Put me for $1 na ron sa square jar. Yan.
I don't know. Before we end the if we really are ending the show here, I would like to say one last thing before we end. To all of you guys who regardless if it's Voltes 5 or any other live action adaptation that that studios are coming up with, every IP out there doesn't necessarily need a live action something to be validated. Enjoy it in the original media that it came out. It doesn't have to be validated with any live action series, movies, or whatever. And I would willing to argue na maybe there's also a cultural sensibilities that they had to write
just
around it. Back in the 80s when Voltes 5 was first created, there were certain themes there na okay sa Japan, and then you cannot really write it here during the modern times and i-adapt mo yun on a Filipino setting. And I will forget the fact na marunong magtagalog ang Brazenia. I will forget
Well, they know how to speak English and Japanese, so
I would also forget the fact na lahat ng superpowers ng mundo, even US, China, and Russia, were not able to defend themselves with the Bosania, and for some reason, merong super robot Pilipinas.
That Dr. Armstrong had 18 years to be on Earth and not even warn any other country that an invasion is coming.
Powers on Earth. For some reason, we have something like this going on. I would even forget that.
They were too busy fighting each other.
Golden era na kasi.
And sure.
Mahal na sibuyas eh.
Mahal na sibuyas, right? And what I'm saying is, for what they have translated on paper or anime, not necessarily mean you can put it onto live action. There are certain things that it cannot really translate well into live action. That's why you got Prince Sardo. and there are certain limited and we are willing to accept some liberties that the studio can do just to make this a little bit more palatable in live action, and we get that. Whether yung sinasabi ni Mamojo na are we really defending Voltes 5 or our nostalgia of Voltes 5? And the way I see it is that there are two sides of the argument here in regarding the Filipino divide in regarding with Voltes 5 legacy. Are those who think that Voltes 5 may live action, alam ko itong bata ko, I'm excited for this, versus dun sa mga fans din ng Voltes 5 na oh shit, why are they doing this to Voltes 5? Hindi siya dapat ganito. It should be like this. So there are two schools of thought, but that doesn't mean that each other will invalidate the other na tamang opinion nila. Merong sinasabi na merong fans na they will eat it up regardless of what GMA will what table scraps GMA will give us. There are schools of thought na we will defend this image that we have with Voltes 5 because we are also fans of this property that we think that should have been handled more with respect. And that is how you guys say, treating the source material with respect, but also doing some liberties just to cater for the target audience that we're dealing with the cultural zeitgeist that we have right now. And whether in regarding the one with the that we have sa Philippine cinema, I watched the first Darna with Vilma Santos pa.
Oh yes, Vilma Santos number 2 for me.
We got Darna, Pedro Penduko, Kapitan Bawang, Super Inday, Batang X,
Lastic Man, you know.
Lastic Man. Heck, even Joy De Leon brought us Shima.
Shiman, Kishmanay, di ba?
Batman Robin. I mean, there and all of those pumatok. Say what you will, it may have been a piece for carbon copy or a parody of it, parody of the source material, but they are still quite memorable to all of us who grew up during the time na our imaginations of superhero worship or anything supernatural is way up there. No? Have the capability, we have the imagination, we have the creative mindset to pull off original content. It's just a matter of how much faith or how much confidence the studio will give these creatives. Right? We got Channel 2 and Channel 7, the only biggest networks that we have in the Philippines right now, that who can probably afford to do all of this high ensemble na teleseries, right? And if all of the networks back in the early 90s, let's just say RPN 9, IBC 13, ABC 5, channel, and even Channel 4, if all of the networks back in the early 90s have the same resources to even pull off an adaptation of their flagship anime or flagship foreign show, then we have something more interesting to talk about. Right. And to Sir Noch's point and Sir Joel's point, there are other stories out there outside of the Philippines or na hindi bumenta sa kanilang native na bansa. But once you translate that, once you localize that to another country, then it becomes something more. It becomes more larger than life. Right. Voltes 5 was out of all the super robots that we have na pinalabas ng Japan. Why only Voltes 5? Pagdating dito.
The rest of the world actually treats Voltes 5 as the ripoff of Combattler. It's here
from right? So why Voltes 5 is the only thing that's big here? Because any other super robot show na dinala rito sa Pilipinas, heck, even Voltron. Voltes 5 trumps Voltron for some reason, right?
Right.
And so, kahit anong Super Robot Wars pa yan, na dinala dyan sa Pinas, pwedeng masumikat, and they could have made a live action series of that. But, the Voltes 5 was the thing that, it was a lightning in the bottle, brought to the Philippines, pumatok, a lot, and despite of the lackness of romance, it was quite political. Ang dami ring twists and turns. Right. Merong and I was talking about this with Sir Joel and sa PRG. And this is the etong usual na trope. Merong dramatic scene. Okay. Steve, wag mong siyang patayin. Bakit? Kapatid mo siya. Sabay. Tapos biglang merong background music. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very Filipino thing to do.
Meron ganun,
Extremely Filipino thing, yes.
Before the commercial, meron muna dramatic scene, and then background music, and then commercial.
If they're gonna do that, why don't they just do it with Daimos? At least with Daimos, pwede sila maglagay ng maraming kontrabida at maraming mga agaw between Richard and Erica.
It has the romance trope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Erica
Romance.
and the-
Kaya hindi
Richard.
pwedeng sabihin sa akin nung head writer na yun na walang romance sa mga anime.
Yeah, kasi honestly, like, yun yung gusto ko maipunto sa
Sa
Daimos.
Lablugol niya, may romance
I
eh.
know what he's talking about.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I want to point out sa
Tama
Daimos.
yun, Notch. Tama yun.
Like, they could just put Daimos, tapos gusto nila magdagdag ng mga original characters na magiging parang bato ng wrench sa gears. They can do that. Ang maganda pa dito, Richard and Erica is completely separated from each other. So there's a lot of tension in regards to that romance, di
Star-crossed
ba?
lovers. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
Bigam.
So, yeah.
Literally star-crossed lovers. Yeah.
Sige, at before we totally end the episode, kasi ginagano na ako ng ating producer. Hoy. I
We're
just have
having
one.
such a great time here.
I just have one question. And keep your answer short. Keep your answer short.
Okay, go ahead.
So if kung meron mang title in anywhere in the world na gusto mo ma-adapt dito sa Pilipinas, what title would it be? Can we start with Sergio?
Pinoy property na we would like to be adapted.
And any property in the world that you'd like to be adapted here in the Philippines.
An international property that you might want to adapt for Philippine
Right.
consumption.
Like Assassin's Creed pero sa Tondo. Parang ganun.
I have an
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I like that one.
Tondo.
I like that one.
Sa Tondo. Yes.
I like that one. That's good.
Tondo
I'm not
Assassin.
kidding.
Meron tayo nun, on the job.
Minsan nga.
On the job.
Pangas mo Assassin's Creed to.
Tapos, paglabas mo rin ito, paglabas mo mamaya, I speak lalabas, gano'n.
Oh, I speak. Okay, sige. Yeah.
Ikaw rin eh.
Sige, habang nag-iisip si Sergio, I
Ay,
would like to
lumang
see a local version of Train to Busan.
Train to Busan. Good one.
LRT?
Titirik na yung LRT. Titirik na.
It's happening now.
Patay na tayo.
We act like that right now, actually.
Remember, may live adaptation na, di mo nakikita yung pila doon.
Next go.
Di ba? Sobrang siksikan. Tapos bigla silang maging zombie lahat. Tapos delayed yung train.
I mean, it's not bad. It might work. It might work. Sounds good.
Ikaw tricks.
Train to...
Easy.
What was that?
Cooking Master Boy.
Oh, good one. Nice one.
Bida si
I like that. I like that one. Nice one.
Agree.
Ginunahan ako, ano yung ba't nanguna
Ikaw,
ka?
Sir Joel, kayo po.
Okay. Sa akin, Ranma 1/2.
Oh my God!
Pero, sino
Hindi
publisher?
What do you mean? Sino publisher?
Viva Films.
Viva Films. Viva Max, definitely.
Yeah. Sige, ikaw, Lee.
Pwedeng wag muna ako, hindi pa ako napag-isip.
Sige, balik ka namin. Ikaw, Jazz.
Wala pa, teka lang. I'm still thinking, you know. Wait. I'm still thinking
Sige,
about...
si Sir Shin, ikaw.
Bible Black.
Kailangan, uy, pwede yun. Kailangan ba retro anime? Pwedeng short.
Kahit video game, kahit
Kung bago, Tokyo Revengers at Tondo.
Pwede!
Tokyo Revengers, no?
See that happening.
Yeah, Tokyo Revengers at Tondo.
Ayaw mo
Since may nag-suggest na ng Cooking Master Boy, bakit hindi Food Wars, di ba? Food
Yes.
Wars.
Right, yeah.
Pwede.
Viva Films din.
Viva Films
Ikaw,
din,
Mike.
oh.
Ikaw, Mike.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell?
Akala ko sasabihin niyo Bible.
Pero yung artista si
Sino
Robin
kumain
Padilla.
yung bida, no?
Splinter Cell, pero ang ano, yung... Pero Philippine politics involved yung ano, yung kung ano yung mga i-infiltrate and everything.
Or Suits.
Isa lang.
Ay, sorry.
Dalawa ni.
Ang hater.
Nag-aaway.
Bago natin, si BJ yung last. Bago
Okay,
natin
BJ.
balikan si Sergio, si Lee, pati si Jazz. Yung sa akin, Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
Oh.
Kasi lagi mo sa
Bagay.
Isipin mo, nilinisin nila yung Pilipinas. Sama na yung mga politiko.
Can I change mine? Can I change mine ba? Rather than Ranma one half, I'd like to do a Centurions siguro. If you
ganda lang.
TV series, that would be great. And toy possibilities, all these connecting machines and everything. I think it might work, di ba?
Man and machine.
I like that.
Man and
Sige,
machine.
balik tayo kay Sergio. Sergio, nakapag-isip ka na ba? Nagmuni-muni ka na ba? Maganda yung Crow Zero, ha? Ateneo versus Lasal.
Pwede.
Pwede yun, ha?
Witty nun, ha?
Nag-isip ako ng mga 80s properties but kasi meron na silang mga kanya. I mean, I was thinking
Ninja Robot.
I was thinking G.I. Joe. Meron na nga pala G.I. Joe. Nag-isip ako naman, meron na nga pala Masters of the Universe.
Kala ko
I've been wanting Thundercats to happen sooner or later. I mean, they've been doing Thundercats.
Local Thundercats, no? Pero musang gala.
Mga pusakal.
Mga pusakal.
Hindi naman. Musang.
Simuling.
Kala ko sasabihin ni Joe si Georgie.
I would only go with Georgie kung rated R. If they include the sex scenes, I would go for Georgie.
Viva!
For those of you who are not familiar, for those of you who are not familiar with Georgie, research
Viva,
it. It's good anime.
Tapos Harem Rumpilo mentioned something. Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, pwede, no?
Good one.
Pero sa Tondo pa rin. Sa Tondo
Cavite
pa
daw,
rin.
Cavite.
Lee, ikaw, Lee.
I was gonna go for Ghostbusters pero medyo luma. Ghost Fighter. Like
Ghost
full
Fighter.
Filipino na mga
live action, no?
Tapos live action tas Filipino ghost and yung monsters.
Si
Pero Paleets,
Coco Martin,
kasama rin po ba yung controversy about Dennis and Denise?
Actually, you might as well go slam dunk na dahil mahilig ang Pilipino sa basketball, di ba?
Pwede.
True,
They had
true din.
Barangay 143 pero
Interesting lang kasi sa akin, kunyari si Vincent tapos yung dragon niya Bakunawa. Imagine that.
Ay, pwede.
Like if you want Filipino ghosts, we could go for Gegege no Kitaro. Since in a way, yokai yung mga myth, right?
Yes.
That's true.
Natin.
Yokai Watch.
Ang lalim.
Yokai Watch. O kaya Pokemon.
Regal purposes.
Regal.
Pokemon na local, no? Puro daga.
Sabong lang yun eh.
It's happening already.
I'm thinking kasi we haven't had a disaster movie. I think
in a long time,
like 2012, going natin 2022. Or I think okay yun.
Tapos nagmahal ng sibuyas.
The poster nung sibuyas sa
scientist, diba, yung
2022.
opening scene, scientist, sabi mag-end ng world, pero sasabihin ng media, fake news yan. O, diba?
Walang naniwala. Lahat namatay.
Walang naniwala.
Okay, sige.
That's a short movie then.
Gusto ko tawagin ang aming bossing, Mr. BJG. Mr. BJG, kung meron ka pong adaptation na gustong i-localize natin, ano po ba yon?
Simple lang, pare. John Constantine, pero ang artista. Si, pangalan nun, yung walang baba.
Walang baba? Okay, si Big Ed.
Grabe ka.
Hindi ako na pa rito para makipag-away.
Ed Kaluwag, pero Constantine.
Ed Kaluwag. Parang may malamig dito sa likod ko. May aircon sa likod.
Hindi ako makahinga. Wala akong ulo. Pero kalaban niya. Constantine, pero si Ed Kaluwag ba?
I would want that.
Wouldn't you? You would want it?
Hindi ako na pa rito para makipag-away.
Lahat naman na sinabi nyo, ako papanoorin ko lahat yan.
I'm sure.
Watch that.
Basa ang tubig. But there you go. Finally, 2 hours for the 2-hour show. I just have to say, I was very happy to have you guys here. Thank you very much to PRG guys. Sir Joe, Banyagang Native, and Shin. It was a pleasure. It was a great way to come back. Great way to be here. Thank you for everybody who stayed, that are still in the chat right now. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience. We're going to continue this conversation next week. It's going to be at 8 o'clock. But yeah, man. I mean, what we want to leave you here is this: the G3 guys and everything that we do is all about for you guys to enjoy the things that you love, whatever it is: music, TV, movies, comic books, toys, you name it. It's all for everybody. Well, all I'm saying is, let's not try to cash grab so much. There's so many things we want to say, but we're just gonna continue this next episode. But then again, this is your host BJG. That is Heneral Tuna. That is Noch. We got Rene, Cruz Jr., Paleets, Captain Mike Trix joining us today. Joe, RPG, Shin, and Banyaga Native. We will catch you in the next episode, Friday next week, 8 o'clock, here on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're everywhere. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great evening, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
Let's go.
Let's go! Isipin nyo Thundercats, no? Pero nasa bubong lahat ng away.
Pwede.
Tapos may skin sila. May skin sila.
Ay, nako, Diyos
nakaka-istorbo dun sa bahay. Huy! Bawal yan! Huy!
Babotohan ng sapatos.
May comment daw doon sa ano? May comment daw doon sa ano?
Hoy!
Ano masasabi mo?
Pare, kala ko tropa tayo. What the hell, man?
Cole Young, main character for Mortal Kombat 2022. 23 pala.
Oh, yeah.
MK12. MK12. Cole Young. Let's go.